Hi, thank you very much for taking the time out to speak to me today. And just kind of wanted to first off start off with Dave. Could you give us a brief introduction to this new Disney Plus series Behind the Attraction?
The behind the attraction is a sneak opportunity to sort of peel the curtain behind how we came up with our attractions. And it goes into the history, it goes into the challenges, it goes into the hiccups, it goes into the unexpected twists and turns, but you get to hear it from the people who actually built it. You get to hear it from the Imagineers directly. And that's a unique perspective that normally you don't get to hear. Often you hear that you see the final attraction that the guest gets to experience. Here's your chance to actually see the road we travel down to be able to deliver that.
That's cool. And Jeanette, could you kind of give me an idea of what your favorite episode from this series is so far?
Oh, I have to say my favorite episode from the series is Twilight Zone Tower of Terror episode, because it takes us through the evolution of Twilight Zone Tower of Terror worldwide to what became Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout at Disney California Adventure. I think one of the things that I really love about this series is that there is a connective tissue between many of our attractions around the world, but that there are differences in each of our sites, whether it be castles, whether it be Star Tours or Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, right? That kind of story we don't talk about very much, and that everything that goes into making these differences happen is a story we're telling in and of itself, separate from the attractions themselves.
Yeah, I definitely found with the castles episode, it was great seeing kind of the differences between all the different parks around the world. And I just want to put the same question over to Dave. What has been your favorite episode from the series?
I love the Star Tours episode, only because I remember as a guest riding Star Tours for the very first time and just being amazed and wowed by the technology and the storytelling, and who's not a Star Wars fan. And then years and years and years later, to actually be on the team, to be able to envision the next version of Star Tours being Adventures Continue, that was fantastic. And getting to work with Lucas and with ILM. And you get to see some of that in the episode of what it actually took to make that transition. So I'm partial to that one.
Jeanette, can I just ask you, what's been like one of your personal highlights working as an Imagineer?
Well, I'll tell you, when I was that little girl that was inspired by what Imagineers did, right? And I will never, ever forget, Fantasyland was one of my favorite places growing up as a child. And my fondest dream was to be a storybook girl when I was little. And then by high school, I realized, well, it's not enough to operate the rides. Why not design them? So, having become an Imagineer, which is what I wanted to do when I was in high school, and to pair that all together, and now to be working out of Disneyland, which is my home park, I grew up going to. I mean, for me to know that the things that we create, the things that we make happen, can affect the little girls, the little boys that I was once and was inspired by. I mean, that's huge to me, right? And I see it in my children as well, right? They get to run across the castle drawbridge as well, and they see it like they did when we reopened the parks recently for the first time. And I think there's something special. It's why we do what we do. We do it for all of our guests, and it's funny to even think about talking about the backstory or going behind the curtain and showing you what really happens when we're making these things come to life. But it is half the equation.
Yeah. And same question to you, Dave. What's been your personal highlight as a career as an Imagineer?
I love the creative process. I love seeing something go from a blank sheet of paper all the way through to a finished attraction that guests get to enjoy. And the people that we get to work with, our fellow Imagineers, that energizes me. That's such a different point of view and perspective, and the history and the just jumping off points, and how fun it is and how hard it is at the same time. And that's what energizes me, and to be through the whole process. Being that I work often in the blue sky area, a lot of what we design never makes it through the final gauntlet process. So when something does get it all the way through, the blood, sweat, and tears that took you there, you appreciate it that much more, and all the fellow Imagineers that it took to get there.
Jeanette, you mentioned there kind of the parks all reopening. Now with all the parks around the world reopen, how's the excitement level kind of within all the Imagineers about all of this?
Oh, I will tell you, it's what we love to do. I mean, we are in the business of making magic, and in this last year, without guests in our parks or some of our parks, it was tough to say. I mean, we are long lead, right? When we were closed, we were still working on and in construction for many of our projects worldwide. So we have a long-term view of how we make magic. But to know that our parks are operating, to walk through them again, I mean, listen, the day we opened Disneyland, I was in tears the whole time to see kids running through the streets again. And the guests that came back that were crying, that were saying, this is who we are. This is my memory. This is my childhood. Disneyland represents hope to me. I mean, that's why we do what we do, right? We do this for our guests and ourselves as well, right? We all love the magic. So yeah, it's been hugely important, inspirational, motivating to have our parks back open again.
You know, I must admit, I can't wait to get back. Luckily, we've got a cruise this summer, so it'd be nice to kind of get some Disney magic when we kind of get out there. So I wanted to ask, we'll start off with Dave. First off, if you could pick an attraction that could possibly be in the second season, what one would you like to see made into an episode, or perhaps a star in?
There are so many great attractions. It's like saying, who's your favorite child? It's like, I would love to see. I'd love to see Mission Space. That is, so many things are going on that you have no idea are going on in that attraction. And again, the appreciation that our guests have when they really realize the complexity of the attraction, the history, working with NASA, coming up with a way. There's so many years of design went into that attraction. That would be a great story.
And same question to you, Jeanette.
Well, my favorite attraction of all time is Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland. When I was a little girl, I think being immersed in that environment blew me away. And we have continued to evolve and progress that attraction. And I mean, most recently we opened Pirates of the Caribbean in Shanghai, and wow, that ride and how it's evolved is just over the top amazing and epic. And so I would love to see that laid out, because there's a lot of great classic stories there. Mark Davis was central to the comedy as well in that attraction. I think it'd be really fun to cover. And I'm certain that was on the short list of attractions that didn't make it, because I believe that was episode number 11, right? Anyway, so that would be my vote.
And a final question. What has been your favorite Disney Plus original so far? So we should throw that one over to you, Dave, first.
Of all the series?
Yep.
Oh, Mandalorian. That's easy. Love the Mandalorian. Fantastic.
And same to you, Jeanette.
I'm going to keep it Imagineering story. I have to say that was, we all hear the stories and we know some of it, but to have heard the history of Imagineering, from beginning to end, that debuted with the Disney Plus launch, was really amazing to see it on the screen. So while this attraction, Behind the Attraction show, is different than that, and in a refreshing way, a pop history way, it's sort of a perfect complement, right? We started with the history on this, and we give you the pop history backstory. So Imagineering story all the way for me.
Yeah, they are both great shows, and Imagineering Story was one of my favorite titles. Again, thank you very much for taking your time out of your day to speak to me. Good luck with the series. Can't wait to get back to the park myself. And yeah, just thank you for all of your work and everybody else at the Imagineering.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Also, a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and also on our YouTube channel memberships. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.